is Anna Lezhikova. I live in New Zealand. It's currently Friday already, here morning. And I moved to New Zealand from Russia 9 years ago. And here I studied IT. So before in Russia, I was doing a lot of different things. I started as a professional musician and studied public relations, taught public relations, studied sociology, even began writing my thesis in economic sociology, but then decided now making babies might be a little bit funny. So worked in communications, had my agencies, worked in project management and constructions and management, all of it. But after I moved to New Zealand, it was trying to survive, just giving music lessons at the beginning. And then when my younger kids started school, I studied IT in here. And then it was a very fast career from front end full stack. Studied machine learning and artificial intelligence in the Victoria University of Wellington. It was a lot of mobile. Then moved to cloud, DevOps, DevSecOps. And now what I'm doing is literally, I call it cloud security architect. Being exposed to all this different stuff helps me to just be not a usual developer engineer you have, but also bring my business and academic and sociology background. So currently I work in Kogo. It's an impact-led fintech whose carbon tracking API and consumer app enables users and businesses worldwide to measure, reduce, and compensate for their impact on people and planet. Thanks our marketing team to provide me with this data, and why it is important to know for you that we are growing so fast, hiring, expanding products, expanding time zones, countries, all of it, and work with a lot of banks and other financial corporations. It means that this company who started as a startup and didn't even think about having a security person now considering it very seriously. And I'm very happy to work in there because it's such a greenfield and a lot of opportunities to start it right, not to deal with legacy. But this is from technology point of view. And what this talk is about people. So people are not so easy to change, and you can't start from scratch with them. So that's what we'll be talking about here. So, sorry, what we've got in here. People from the company point of view, it's not only engineers, it's all employees. And for employees, what I find lacking is fear. And fear is of just because not knowing, not being attacked. If you didn't work in the company that was under ransom attack or was not affected directly, or even if you worked in this company, it was so huge that it just was not affected directly, then all of these scary stories are just news. And like one example, when we were working in a shared space at the beginning, when we didn't have our office in Kogo, we worked in co-working space, and one day I just stayed longer, and there was a computer left on the desk from one of the employees, and it was open. There was a screen saver, and I was like, oh, it must have been locked. And I touched it, touch screen, it was not locked because she thought that she had a lock, but their screensaver lock was set up for 5 hours or 6 hours, something like this. And it's a co-working space. Anyone can walk in, walk out. Yeah, this type of things. On the other hand, we've got developers who often, especially expert ones, senior ones, that are so overconfident that they know that sometimes have to ask you, please prove me how it can be hacked. Then I will believe you that we will need to secure it. If I don't know how it can be hacked, it can't be. This is not true at all, right? So we know about these problems and open computers, shared passwords. try to train. There's a lot of education. I worked in a bank, and we regularly had these courses that you had to complete with the multiple questions and them that you had to get right, correct. And then you've got this check, past it. But this just, there's no use at all. I mean, like how you can even relate it, what you just read on the slides, to what you're doing day-to-day job. Just like, yeah, it's good for compliance. We know that now take employees for training, but no practical usage in there. But for security training and other stuff, and we got a lot of courses like this, and then people just like find them as obstacle courses that they just have to do and just forget about it. Later, we've got some improvements in there. They now look more fun. They've got some interactions, some maybe fun animations, but still same obstacle course that just people go through and forget. That's when people started to talk about like mindset. It's not only about security. I'm sure you've heard of growth mindset or different mindset. That mindset, we need, if you want to change it, attitude to something, you need to change mindset. So what is mindset? Yeah, this is Google. The established set of attitudes held by someone. There's some pictures in here. This is a very, by the way, if you're interested, this is a nice blog post that explains a lot of what this is about and how it can be approached. It's The Nature of Mindsets by Ash Buchanan. All nicely laid out, like thought through all the categories and all the stuff. And mindsets shape the lives we lead, the actions we take, and the future possibilities of the world we live in. All good words, all cool things. It's also from this post, a quote from Mahatma Gandhi: "Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words." Yeah. But in practice, how do we do this? Well, I don't know. Let's make a detour. In what was that in April? Yes, it was April 2021. New Zealand was not already in lockdown at that moment, so I'm not in Auckland. I'm not in lockdown. Have some freedoms from COVID stuff, but this was like when there was no COVID in the country, but all COVID all over the world. And there is a program in New Zealand called HECUA that provided education with credits for American students. So American students would come here. They would work in some companies as volunteers doing social good. Then they would travel the country, visit local iwis, tribe in Maori, and learn their cultural traditions, view of the world, all the stuff. And then they would go to some place, stay there for a couple of weeks, and write the essay and paper. So it was offered only for American students, but COVID came and the program closed because no one could come to New Zealand. So they decided to offer it to local people, and because our company provided space for these volunteers, I've got an invite and decided, okay, why not to go? So I went there. I stayed in an iwi, Natirani. Iwi means tribe. It's a Maori tribe. And for 3 days it was there, stayed in marae, so sleeping in a big hut all together on the floor and mattresses. And they took us to the local area, showed it to us, and talked about the beliefs and traditions. So this is area, the Mount Ruapehu area. It's the center of North Island of New Zealand. I'll have a map later, a small map of this area, so you'll know better. But this is the, by the way, I'm not sure. It's the tallest mountain of North Island, and it's a former volcano. I'm not sure how much active it is, but other parts of the Tongariro, it's called Tongariro chain of mountains, and this is Mount Ruapehu, or Hakone, it's the name of the town. And we went there. It was very, very beautiful. And they talk to us about the mountain and that how it connects to their world, that when you die, your spirit will go up to the mountain. So it means all ancestors go through this and then to the outer world, and that this is a sacred place. There's a lot of like the ice in there. When it melts, it goes just from the sacred space. That's just connection between our world and ancestors' outer world. Yeah, it was amazing. There was rainbow like for a couple of hours, just appearing, disappearing. And this ice melting goes down through in rivers, in the form of rivers and the mountain rivers. And then we looked at this, and this area is sacred. So this point is where we were like allowed to go, and we were not allowed to go further because this is like whenever you go in there, you're present in there, and present not only for the stones and stuff, but also for all the spirits and energy and all the things in there. When you and you should not disturb the space if you're not allowed to. Then after this place, like mountain, we went to the river, and this is water from ice melting, and river also got some spirits. You can talk to them, you can pet them. So let's try, you're next to the river, try to just touch it like you're petting a dog or cat, something like this, and you'll feel it. It's a very interesting feeling. And this water, not only life from the biology point of view, like environment point of view, but also life continues from spiritual point of view. Then we went to the forest, and these rivers, they feed all of this life. This water is everywhere. And yeah, this is New Zealand forest, my favorite place on the planet. When we're open, please come and visit when we're open. And all this is fed, and again, not just water, but also spirit, and means that we are also 90-something% of water. And this water is not only molecules, it's full of all other stuff in there. So that's how they see the world in a holistic view, that everything is part of everything else. And it's not just parts, it's a one big thing, interconnected. And this is a very, very life-changing experience, just to feel how I see the world, how I feel myself in the world. And then they showed us a place and told us a story. So this is Treaty of Waitangi, when Crown bought the lands from Maori and started doing things on it, because like Crown thought, now we own the land, we can do things. And in 20th century, I'm not sure exactly what was the year, but 70s. The project started in 50s. It was called Big Think Project, and this exact project was started, I'm not sure, 70s or 80s, something like this, like 50 years ago, almost 50 years ago. And this is the you can't see my cursor, right, on the screen, Dagmar?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Oh, awesome. Okay. No, I mean like the cursor, my mouse cursor.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So this is Mount Ruapehu we're talking about. This is Tongariro mountain, and this is Mount Tongariro, and this Mount Nauruhoe. Nauruhoe, it's the famous, if you watched Lord of the Rings, you've seen it. This is Mordor, this mountain. So this was in the movie. And this is our rivers, and the river I showed you is I think this one, not sure, but one of this one. So this water melts in here, goes through these mountains, go to the rivers, goes in here. These dots are catchments. I'll have a not a very good, but still picture of it. So where water goes into from the river into the tunnel, and there are 21 or 24 of them, something like this. And then all this water from the catchments go into this aqueduct. Then it goes to this dam. Then there is a huge tunnel going here and here, and then there are power stations, and then it goes to this lake, finally in Lake Taupo, and you can see it on this. There's a river coming out of the Lake Taupo, and there are 6 or 8 more power stations, and all this to produce energy, electricity. What is not show like, and yeah, good electricity. This is the green electricity that we want to promote more, opposite to coal, oil. By the way, that's one of the reasons why AWS is building data center in New Zealand, and Google Cloud is almost like, I'm not sure if they're building it or not, but they're opening one. But AWS is building one, because this is the green energy that will help them to become carbon zero, not neutral, carbon zero, that they all 3 main clouds claimed to be by 2030. And this water in here, it just, okay, some catchments, water goes in, but how it looks in real life. So these are 2 catchments from this one. So here, it's not very good picture, sorry, that I was able to find from the trip, but on the left, this is one of the streams. Then here, like these small things are the metal grid, and then water goes into this metal grid and disappears in there. So this is metal, it's just covering this aqueduct, and it's going in there. And this water, it's only water that comes from here. It's a pipe, maybe like 10 centimeters diameter, or 20, I think 10 centimeters diameter. And it's all that allowed to go back into the riverbed from this water. On the right side is the one that the rivers are up here, and this water is 80%, then 20% goes to the aqueduct, and this is gray thin, it's shutter. And it few years ago, maybe like 2.5, 3 years ago, it was shut, fully shut, so nothing was coming out. So this was all dry. The rest of the catchments are like this one before, or like this one, they're all shut. So if you go back, all this water is not going south, it's all going north. So what people did, people just turned the water against the natural flow. All of this water. It means that there is no life moving through this highway, like water highway for life, not fish like fish or any other like this type of things, no seeds, nothing. So this is dry, dead riverbeds. And when you look at this, it's a catastrophe. And this water means not going south, means that there is no, this all forests, fields, pastures, all of it is not getting this water it was getting for, I don't know, from the beginning when this all happened. This like this mountain, this water, like from the beginning of this nature. And the people who like farmers, they say that when there's a drought, they suffer because there's just not enough water underground to feed all the plants, because it just, but it's in there, melting from the ice, but it's not getting in there. So why I'm telling you this story? Because in 90s, I think it was 2000s, Crown decided to give back some of the land to Mara Ivis. So now Ivi own this water, so land. So Natirani, now they're legal owners of this land. So they filed a case to Environment Court to open this catchment and just to get this water back. But the power company fought back, and there was a lot of going through the different appeal court for many years, a lot of money, a very big media campaign painting Evie as an evil and greedy and all this stuff. And at some point, they thought, no, we can't do this anymore this way. We will need a different approach. So they found a way to send a message to this power company board, and they invited them here to show this. And they invited them, they talked to them about the mountain, about the river, about the forest, about the role it plays in all of EVs around, just people's lives. And it changed these company people who were making decisions mindset. They saw this, they changed their vision of this problem, and then when the ice broke and there's a process ongoing, and the outcome of this process is this shutter, the gray one, was open for 80% and only 20% going to this catchment. This one, I hope now it's better because they just decided how much percentage will go into the aqueduct, how much will go into the river, and also opening it. And they hope that this, like little by little, they will open most of the catchments, at least to have some water in there to provide this transport for life. So after I learned about the story, I just thought, it's so much, it reminded me of conflicts we have in our area. And it reminded me of a story. My friend told me she works in a bank and she's not in IT. She uses Office 365, and she told me a story. Oh, the security people, they're so evil. I created a workflow in Office 365, and I really need it because it helps me to just automate my jobs. And it's a very simple workflow, but I can't use it because I'm not allowed just to use it. I need an approval, I need a test or something. I understand what I need. They came back to me, they're not answering messages. It's been 2 months already. This is terrible. Security is terrible. It's a simple thing I need to do. Why they are not? You've all been through these talks. I'm sure you've heard it. And when I heard this, I thought, but it's what we like. It's the same problem. There is a conflict because people are just in different worlds. They've got different mindsets. And how do we what this Evie used in this situation, this conflict, that helped them to get out of the stale situation and create some progress, not just to change everything in one day. And again, what I'm going to talk here, it's not a silver bullet. It's really just the one catchment at a time. And I talked to the Evie chief, and then I talked to people around it, and just other Mara people. Just started asking them questions about this vision, conflict solving, and changing people mindsets. And then I came up with 3 ideas. It's not just a full list that can be done, but for me it was easier to grasp the 3 to start to implement them, to use them. And they were, Kayako, storytelling, and map is not a territory. And we just walk through them one by one and see how what that means and how they can be applied. Kayako, who? Kayako means, if you look at the dictionary, it will just tell you teacher, but it's not correct translation. Kai means food, and it can be just not what you eat, but any feed. And ako means teaching, knowledge, and then here it's the proper translation to English would be knowledge feeder. But it's knowledge feeder, it's not the same as teacher. We used to this classical teaching setup when there is an expert and authority that tells you some truth, that tell you something, you just from the start, you have to believe it, accept it, learn it, and then you'll be tested for it. And it comes from like everywhere, everything, every teaching right now is one way. So there is a source of knowledge that if you decide to learn it, you accept it, that it's a source of truth and something you just need to learn. Luckily, this changing in modern education system, my kids are 11 and 15 years old when they go to New Zealand school, and New Zealand school is very, very changing. And I think Maori culture and this kayako ideas also influence it. And the idea is that the teacher is not someone who tells you the truth. Teacher is a person like kayako, the person who gives you some knowledge, feed you like food for thought, and you absorb it and learn by this is just a feed. It doesn't have to be like true, it's something, it's just food. And then you need to digest it, you need to grow it, you need to make something from it. But most important aspect of kayako is it's a two-way process. The person who is teaching is learning from the person they're teaching at the same time. So there is no teacher and student, they're just two people who feed each other knowledge. You can be in a position of kayako. It means that you're not just saying something to someone and test them. It means you provide them food and then you get this food from them. So always constant feedback loop. So how it can be used in security. This is the very nice picture I found at Auth0 website. And this is like classical stuff, but on the left, like shift and left paradigm is that gets security before everything is deployed, and now we just push it to pen testing, even internal testing, security testing or whatever. And this is nice words: secure coding practices, threat modeling, all these like threat modeling workshops, programs, education. But the kayako part on this, what I've been doing in our company is that I'm, as a security person, involved in the product design from the beginning. So not in the building stage, from the beginning. They've got an idea, they got some business idea, they start documenting it, and I'm invited to observe from the beginning, and then to raise any questions if they are like how this idea, what implications it got, how it can be secured, and all the stuff. Then when they are the building stage, there's a team that working on this product, they just started building it. I'm there at every stand-up. I'm there at every pull request. And it means that I can see, we use only infrastructure as code, all the templates, CloudFormation in the AWS. It means that then when they create resources in the template, I review them. If they've got policies, not using default AWS policies, are the policies correct or tight enough, or all the stuff. And it's done as a code review, not as the audit at the end. And threat modeling, that's what we are planning. Just I think in a couple of weeks, we're having this threat modeling exercises. And then what I want to do, we tried it already, but that team was reformed. Now it's a new team. So to embed threat modeling questions in the story template. And it's not just put it in there, it be there for them to help them to use it properly. On another hand, when I'm there at the stand-ups, at retros, at pull requests, code reviews, I hear them. I hear their complaints, I hear how their struggles, and I hear their ideas. I see how they use guardrails or limitations, borders I put for them. And it means that sometimes it's just configured not user-friendly. Yes, it's doing a job, but because they need to so the labor to be able to implement it is so much higher, then it reduces the value of the security control, but it still needs to be there. And that's why when I hear what exactly the problem is, yeah, it's because it's not, for example, you have to enter this key at the session all the time you use it, there's no remember function or something like this, or number of hours is too short for this environment. It doesn't have to be 1 hour session key expiry. It can be 12 hours or 8 hours for the working day, because it's not production and staging. How do you know about this? How do you hear about this? Just by being there. And that's like, I'm there for them to give them knowledge when they need it. And I'm here to learn from them how they use it and what problem they have. So this is this Kayako concept. I know you. Another one is pair programming, and the keywords you can use in there is champions. I know that the main question from people will be, how do you scale it in a huge organization? You just can't be there. That's where the champions come in. And there's one talk later, one talk tomorrow. Yep, I think tomorrow, about the security champions. It's a well-known idea already, but now you can look at it from a different angle. So not just champions doing things, but these champions also can grow into mentors, into kayakers that are not just leading the way, but also being kayak or change mindsets around them. Yep, and mentorship as a skill, it's something to look into these people and when the champions, your potential champions, and especially when you hire for security positions, it's another skill that I think very valuable when you look at the person, not only just certificates and the experience knowledge, but also, can they be a good mentor to anyone? Can they be a good teacher, but not teach kayak, or can they share it? Can they listen? Next one is telling a story. So we had who, kayako, doing what? Telling a story. So how these kayakers can change this mindset, what should they do? And it's not only our traditional type of delivering knowledge. Do you remember the mindset stuff I told you at the beginning, all these chart sets and quotes stuff? I doubt, but I'm sure you remember the story I told you about these conflicts, because it's a story. It's a fairy tale, and a fairy tale, it's a very simple plot. You can remember and you can retell, and there is something you can connect to, and there is something you can like learn and use some moral from it. Fairy tales were not fairy tales before all this scientific revolution and enlightenment era. They were stories. They were main way of education. But with time, we still have stories, and they still educate. Question is what they educate us with, like what knowledge they bring. And there is some stuff. You can look at this message they send. I'm not saying it's better or good. There's some good in there that teaches you some good qualities maybe in life, I don't know. But in other sides of the world, like scientific, science, serious, adult business, we are not telling stories anymore, because we say, this is childish, this is something we should like, it's for kids, or it's for entertainment. So it stopped being for kids only right now. It was only for kids, but now it's entertainment, all this Hollywood and comics world and all this stuff. But stories is a very, very powerful tool of delivering information. And so what I've been doing in this company, I was translating, bringing what I read to the space in the company to create this like some context with stories in the company, how it works. For example, I've got a lot of mail list I read every day, and like Hacker News. So I love Corey Quinn. I hope he will get this message, some reference somewhere. And he, by the way, he started last week an AWS security flavored newsletter regularly, and it's very, very useful if you're on AWS. Highly recommend. And I read this news, and then I just retell them in our Slack channel. In a general channel, if it's just on general security, on passwords or something like this for employees, or in our engineering channel, if it's a little bit more techy. And I found out that this, and what's important, I do it regularly. And so I tell these stories, I make this feel like becoming a norm, something that happens regularly, that's something that exists. And with employees, there was a very, very interesting outcome once. I posted a story about scamming and how people just fall into these traps, how to get scammed. And one of the employees answered, like, started a thread in there, how he was scammed some time ago, like how he lost a few $1,000s, how he felt. It was a really, really sensitive coming out thing. And, but because there was space created to make it not something sudden, but appropriate and safe, he was able to share it. And people started to add to it and discussing it, and it became something real. And it just, that was a very, very amazing feeling of this like fireplace story. And for engineers, they always like raise the question. And once I saw that was some talk, like the idea news I posted some time ago, and then maybe 3 or 4 weeks later in the pull request on some code, people just made changes. Now I thought about it because it could be this threat, this and this. And then I remembered, oh my gosh, but this is connected to the new news I posted some time ago. Or another story that it's not only news. When we go to roundtables, conferences, it's not only schematical slides like this is this. This is not only teaching, it's also telling stories, sharing experiences and learnings, and in such a way that can be retold and reused. And I went to a security roundtable at one point, and there was an amazing story about phishing email and then how Facebook was blocked and why it happened. And we had the same setup in our company, and I just posted how this is the story, and then I got, yeah, we need to change it. So it was accepted that by people, not just like something directive and some order or something you want to enforce on them, but something like, it's a story, I can connect to it. Do I see something around me that I can like apply it to? Yes. And then there is no defensive feelings in this person. And then the more they repeat these kind of things, the more it becomes a part of their everyday life context, the more their mindset has changed. And the third one is who, kayak, or what, telling the story when or where on the territory. So what this conflict was, like really, like one of the things that solved this conflict was not just going to the court, the real one conflict, not just going to the court and discussing it using papers, but bringing these people to this place and showing them and talking about this, telling the story there at the river, not in the courtroom. So what Map is not a territory. I'm sure some of you heard about this. This is a not new concept. There's a lot of interesting frameworks and ideas came out of it already. But what does it mean? So what is a map? Map is not only a map, like on the left side. This is the map of this area, but anything that is not this place is also a map. So this picture is a map. Me talking about this area is a map, you can imagine it. And this one is also a map. Yeah, this is the river in New Zealand. It's amazingly not cold when you touch it. Yeah. And this river is very talkative. I really like it. And so this is everything that's not real situation or place is a map. How we can apply it to security one, like security situation, because what would be not not a map. Capture the flag, hackathons, advent of the code, they are all good because they move us like from, okay, day-to-day job, there's no attacks, there's no problems, there is no situations you can like get adrenaline in you. So we create the spaces that people can, not normal for compared to day-to-day job, but something, but it's still a map compared to what you produce, what you do in at your day-to-day work. But still good. So this is better than nothing, and good things, yeah. But they're still maps. Ranges. It's a very aggressive picture. I don't like it, but I couldn't find any peaceful pictures of ranges. Yeah. So I went through, I tried one of, there was, I don't remember the name, some company that they provide ranges, and ranges like the security ranges is not, again, not a new concept. The idea is that there's some product environment created, it's got vulnerabilities from the beginning, and you go in there and your job is just like your task challenge to find all of them to hack it. And that's how you learn this hacker mindset, like enemy mindset to be able to build defenses against it. So I took one of these, thank you OWASP to providing a free offer. By the way, you can find it, I think OWASP provides it. And as I'm a OWASP member, I used this opportunity, and for 1 month we did this. There was a website, and we did this like hacking, and you were getting points for finding all these vulnerabilities. And it was a totally, it was familiar, but totally not relevant tech stack for me at all, just nothing. And I would say I never used this tech stack in my career because for me it was a little bit outdated. But anyway, it was amazing how it changed your thinking, and then how you start thinking in a breakup way. And I think you need this feeling when you are in a threat modeling mode and really want to look at your thing, what you're building from the breaker point of view. This is cool, but then this was the problem with that it was not relevant to what we are doing. So when you've got your developers and you send them to this range, or you buy this access for them to learn, how do you find one that will fit the tech stack they're using right now, the job? Because when you do this XML attack or something in the Apache server, but you are in AWS cloud serverless and using React single page application. Totally different. It's still vulnerable, but with different vulnerabilities. And then I started to look, there are other ways. So there's things that people, that's their business, they provide it as the business. But what I was, maybe I don't, I couldn't find it. If you know such a resource, send me. Or if you want to build such a thing, I would love to join and do it together. Something kind of Lego thing for cloud. and for any, like for every major cloud, you just, it's templates, and you combine these templates to create, and with known vulnerabilities. So I've got S3s. Okay, you've got, there's a template for 3 with vulnerabilities. I've got EC2 and VPC. Okay, this is the template how to set up a VPC and EC2 with vulnerabilities. So you just combine this, looking as close as your product, and then you deploy it in an account and get the developers in and tell them, can you find all of it? So something like this. But again, it's not as close, like it's closer. But also what I'm doing, when I see something in our code, like, oh, I see in the news this was hacked and this is what we use, I always try to point, look at this, this is the same thing that was in the news that we are using it here, or trying to create these connections between vulnerabilities that are reported somewhere on some website with our code and pointing finger to it. For the employees, it's very cool. You can just like create a few, write some code and upload it in a few memory sticks and just throw away in the office and see who will be the first to put it into their machine, right? This kind of fun. Now I need to implement it before they watch this talk, my colleagues. So again, this is not a silver bullet. This is not like, okay, we will do this now only. This is not discarding all of the things we're doing with traditional education, certification, all the stuff. This is just an extra facet in this multifaceted thing that I hope now we'll be able to use and see things with extra filter, extra layer, and to use this who, what, when, like kayak or telling a story on the territory. So I think for me, the lesson, like the idea I'm living with and trying to, like, that guides my things I'm doing in my company is just be there, tell the story, make it feel real. And I understand there's a scaling problem for big enterprises, but I think it's all solvable if you start thinking as this, like distribute this, of this thing as not as the central monolith, but as a distributed system, how we can distribute, be there, tell the story, make it feel real. And I think it's also possible to apply it to big companies. That's me. Thank you very much. Questions?